Whereas most fruit trees are simply planted from their seeds, ulu doesn't have seeds, so we must capture its genetics and in some way coerce it to grow. This film shows one technique to achieve this goal. Mahalo for watching. Now go plant a Hawaiian ulu, and if you can't find one, get in touch with me and I will get you one. Mahalo! So this is a tray showing you what's going to happen. And what's going to happen is these little babies pop out of these root pieces just on their own, just by keeping them wet. This is the nature of the tree of how to propagate itself. So it knows what to do. The only difference is that we've removed these roots from the mother tree and isolated them in this environment so that they would propagate, and but they're propagating the way they would in nature, except they would be attached to the tree as opposed to being chopped off as we've done here. And this is now a little bit later, and if you can see, and I hope you can, this is green. This is the young growing section. But down here, it's getting woody, it's getting brown. You can see it also over here that these are all getting woody. Once they get woody like this, then they can be air layered. Basically, what you do is you cut this piece off and you stick the bottom of it in a rooting solution, and then you put it in these little test tubes. And you put these test tubes in a misting house. So I don't know how long the misting is here, but like every 20 minutes it mists for 3 seconds or whatever, and keeps this thing, all these plants, thinking they're in the bottom of a jungle somewhere and that they're supposed to grow, and they're all in these little test tubes, just like that, and they're all labeled with the variety, and this is Fiti. So this is ulu Fiti. And then, when they grow out of this, they get moved down to the next tier. Okay, so this is another type, and I'm gonna go out on a limb here because Noah's not here and I can't ask him, but I think I know what's going on here. These are tissue cultures. Tissue cultures are done in a scientific laboratory where they take the plant and they take a tiny piece of the plant and they somehow get its genetics and are able to make lots of copies of it in a very small area. That's why these all look so uniform, and they're all much smaller than the ones that were being grown in the misting system. So this is just this little poor little weak little baby, but sooner or later, that poor little weak little baby turns into one of these, which is a beautiful little tree. And these are even the younger ones. And these are misting setups. So periodically during the day, this is constantly being misted and constantly being encouraged to grow until they get to be, once they get to be this big, they're oleolean free. These things ain't gonna die. When they're young, they're sensitive. But this laboratory is set up to do exactly what it is doing. Okay, so this is fast forward, I don't know, 3 months. The roots that I just was standing by are put into these containers, which are containers, and they're filled with a very quality and moisture absorbing and holding soil mixture, and kept wet in this environment and kept in the shade. Thank you, Noah Lincoln, for setting this up and doing what you do to propagate these species and label and identify the species of ulu, just the way Jerry Konanui identified the varieties of kolo, and his knowledge of the kupuna varieties is being carried on by the likes of which of Kaiana Runnels and other people who have studied under Jerry. Noah is the king of ulu. Thank you, Noah. Aloha kako. First off, I want to be clear. and I am not a scientist, nor an expert. I just love eating naturally, and have done so most of my life. And of all the plants I eat, ulu is probably the most special, in that it produces the most food for the least labor. Except for maybe Maya, banana, which runs a close second, and a plant that I will cover more specifically in another episode. Mahalo for watching the video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get the latest videos that I release on sustainability. Mahalo nui, Uncle Ricky.